Last week, my client said this: I always fall for people who seem unreachable, but the moment they show interest in me, I lose attraction. Why is that? Actually, when he said it, I immediately recognized myself, because I used to be this person who craves this kind of attraction, who would fantasize for hours on end about the person, how we're gonna meet, what we're gonna do, how amazing our life will be, how amazing everything would be. But this fantasy only take place where this actual person doesn't pay attention to me. So as soon as the person actually opens up and starts to be vulnerable, I would immediately feel, oh no, it doesn't fit my fantasy. But here, like, a couple of things going on. Another thing that it was hard for me to understand is when I was going through breakups and I didn't understand why I actually fall in love with people who are unreachable, who are like, I thought they are one person, but they actually aren't, and it doesn't match. And I went through a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. And one of the worst breakups I had, I asked for help, and I was talking to a coach, and they asked me how I describe love. What does love means to me? So my definition of love at that point was, so love, it's something where you feel excited, thrilled, connected, obsessed with a person. You think about them, you kind of like in the movies, like in a drama. So I was craving something like thrilling and exciting. The reality is, when the relationship get to the certain point, this thrill and excitement just kind of disappears or fade away. So the boring Netflix and chill, or like cooking time, it felt nice to me. So it's not like I didn't want it, but I thought that it's very important for love and relationship to happen, that I need to be like this, I need to be jittery, I need to be in love, and I need to be like craving this other person. So every time I would meet somebody, if that didn't trigger that response in me, this like confusion, fear, you don't know if they like you or not, this kind of uncertainty, it creates a lot of emotions. It creates like a whole roller coaster of longing, curiosity, and makes this whole relationship very exciting. So when I was dating and going on dates, I used to unconsciously search for the people who will give me this package of emotions. So this was my definition of love. And actually, the coach told me back then that this definition of love, whatever I describe a very addicted and a little bit codependent, toxic relationship, that we think that's how love is, but it's not actually the reality. And I get to that point a little bit later. Another part of this, that I would always fantasize about other person. I would create this elaborate story about how we're gonna go on dates, how our life is gonna be, how our first intimacy is gonna be, how everything is, just how he's gonna love me, how I'm gonna feel. And I would have relationships in my head with this story, with this image of this unreal person who is actually not the real person, not the one who is in front of me. And that was very big part of my relationship, that I would just fantasize more versus experiencing and seeing people for who they actually are. And that brought me a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, because you created a story in your head, and want it or not, you have expectations that this person will have to kind of play along with this story, and then reality is not like that. They don't text you, they don't follow through, they forget the plans, or something else happens that doesn't match with your story. So of course you get super disappointed. You get heartbroken because your idea was completely different. In a way, yes, I was a little bit delusional and I created the story myself, but it is so hard not to do that. In every relationship, we tend to come up with these stories. So why normal relationship felt boring for me at that point, that I would not start the relationship with the person who felt boring, who would not give me this thrill and this like whole specter of very intense emotions. So if I go on a date and the person is just normal, it felt boring. It felt like, oh, so what? You're not gonna make me suffer. You're not gonna make me question myself. You're not, So I felt that people who are like, okay, there are some people who really you don't click, and it's absolutely fair, it's a different problem. But I dismissed a lot of people who I went on dates with based on this filter in my head that I had to look for this like jittery, crazy emotions and this attraction and this crazy roller coaster of toxic emotions. So I couldn't possibly see the person for who they are. So in order to change my type of love, the type of people I'm drawn to, and improve my relationship, there is a couple of things that I had to do. The first and foremost, I had to understand how I defined love. So I had to dive deep and understand what is love for me, what is gonna make me feel, how I'm gonna feel in relationships, and how I want to feel in relationships, and more importantly, why. The second part of this puzzle that you have to solve for yourself is to understand what is this exact fantasy of this person does to you. So why do you need it? What is the need you have that you expressing through fantasizing about this other person? And also, oftentimes we find ourselves that it's not only need that we're expressing, but also we have a fear of real intimacy and real connection. It's so much easier to fantasize and live in this world where everything is perfect and the person behaves exactly the way we want in our head, virtual reality, versus actually look inside ourselves and see, okay, I'm this way, I'm not perfect, and I want to meet somebody and have a true, authentic connection in here, in now. Because I believe that only the real love can happen when the love is mutual, when you experiencing real connection in the moment, when you show yourself fully, you vulnerable, you open, you share your feelings, your thoughts, and other person does the same. Only when you have this mutual connection, the relationship can happen, the real love, the real magic of human existence happens in those moments. And I deeply believe that if you keep having this idea, this image, idolizing image of in your head of the relationship, it will drive you farther and farther from the reality, from the people around you, from the people with their problems, their insecurities, their imperfections. Because when we meet somebody and when we curious about discovering who is this person actually are, we are trying to learn versus project our expectations about the real person in front of us. It takes time, it takes effort, and oftentimes it's very scary because people, I'm the same way. Sometimes You have to go into some uncomfortable moments, some reflections, facing yourself, facing your insecurities, facing your attachment styles and maybe some traumas. And those things impossible to avoid if you want to have real connection and real human relationships. And a lot of people prefer to live in this imaginary world of what could be in a relationship versus to deal with the actual people here and now and have this rational judgment of their actions and their words and how it's impacting you in this moment. But it's possible to change. So what I did, step number one is to redefine how do you describe love, how do you want to feel in relationship, and shifting towards more healthy, more grounded and comprehensive understanding of love. I have this amazing exercise. I'm gonna leave the link below how you can discover a little bit more about your definition of love and do it on your own. The second important part, after you already understood what is it that might be holding you back from experiencing real love, you try and understand what would be your needs in relationship that you are trying to fulfill with this imaginary person. What is this that they're giving to you that the real person won't give to you? So if you're very honest with yourself, you'll come up with a couple of things. And then once you have those things, first you'll try to do it for yourself, try to satisfy your needs with yourself. And the second, if there's social needs that cannot be satisfied by yourself to yourself, then you will have to know that this is your needs for the relationship. This is your requirements for future relationship, for the connection with the other person. And when you choose somebody, you will ask questions or you will let them know that this is something that you want in a relationship. For example, if you do this fantasy because you want to feel loved and you want to feel very beautiful in relationship, or you want to feel appreciated in relationship, so you want recognition. So how can you receive these things? For example, I want the person to give me compliments, or I want the person to tell me that they appreciate me for blah blah something. So this would be my need in relationship that I need to be aware of, and that when I start my next relationship, or I'm in a relationship right now with a person, I know what to ask for, and that's gonna make it easier for both people in relationship. So actually, when I redefined my love, I already did so much work that I immediately, I think it happened pretty quick. I went on this one day that changed my life forever. I met my husband and I think that I won't be able to connect with this person on the level that I connected back then if I didn't redefine my understanding of love. Maybe I would just dismiss this person, and it would be a huge mistake, because right now we are happily married and we're having this healthy, beautiful relationships that we still have to work on, but that's another video. It's important to understand that this chasing of wrong type of people happens unconsciously, and if we don't take actions and we don't put effort into understanding ourselves, why we're attracted to certain type of people, what it gives to us, what our needs. Basically, without self-reflection, we are setting ourselves up for a lot of pain, a lot of disappointment, and we are doomed to have relationship in this fantasy world versus the reality world, where you can build step-by-step connection with someone who is in front of you without having projecting on them our expectations, our views of the world. But other way is genuinely trying to understand and connect with the person on the very authentic and vulnerable level. Without this presence and connection and learning the person in the moment, we won't be able to build this strong foundation for relationship. Because if we want to have something lasting, something life lasting, we will have to address those questions, and we will have to go deeper, dive deeper in ourselves. For easy, like, you know, easy going, like maybe something flirt or like one night stand and other types of relationships, we of course can avoid all this work and we can go alone. But if you want something real, something raw and present and very beautiful in the end, very authentic connection with someone, you will have to do this work, and it's inevitable. If you would like me to help you, I accept clients for now, so you can DM me, you can comment something, ask me a question on Instagram. Also, if you would like to do this work on your own, please follow along. I'm gonna post more videos about how we choose people, what is love patterns, why do we keep repeating certain love scenarios, and yeah, how to be happy and fulfilled in your relationship. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be happy to see you again in my new videos.